Disclaimer: this content is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised. The night was unusually quiet, the kind of quiet where even the ticking clock felt too loud. I had just slipped under the soft covers, expecting nothing more than a peaceful night's sleep after a long and tiring day. My husband, Ryan, was already beside me, his eyes watching me with a look I couldn't quite read. Usually, our nights ended with a gentle goodnight kiss and soft whispers until we drifted off to sleep. But tonight, something felt different. I could feel it in the air between us, something warm, something intense, yet unfamiliar. I turned on my side, facing away from him, closing my eyes, pretending to sleep. But before I could even count to 10, I felt his hand slide gently over mine. It wasn't forceful, but it wasn't the usual soft touch either. His fingers wrapped around mine like he had something on his mind, something he wasn't saying out loud. "Hey," his voice was low, almost a whisper. "Can we talk? Just for a little while?" I opened my eyes again, a little confused, a little curious. It was already past midnight. Why would he want to talk now? "Ryan, can it wait till morning?" "I'm so tired," I whispered back, trying to hide the yawn creeping up on me. But he gave a quiet laugh, not mocking but gentle, like he had been waiting for this moment all day. "I know, but I've been holding something in. And if I don't say it now, I might not get the courage tomorrow." That stopped me. What could be so important that he couldn't sleep on it? My heart started beating a little faster, not from fear but from a mix of nerves and curiosity. As I turned to face him, his eyes met mine, and there was something tender yet troubled in his gaze. He took a deep breath, his thumb brushing over my hand in slow circles. "Do you ever wonder what it would be like if we weren't just husband and wife? But friends again? Like how we started?" His words caught me completely off guard. I wasn't sure if I should smile or feel sad. Were we drifting apart without even realizing it? Or was this his way of pulling us closer again? The room filled with silence, heavy but not cold. I searched his face for answers, but all I found were more questions. My mind raced with thoughts I didn't know I had buried deep down. Could we truly find our way back to that innocent friendship, where laughter came easy and love wasn't weighed down by life's responsibilities? Or was this his gentle way of telling me he missed who we used to be? And just as I was about to answer, he leaned in closer, his voice barely a breath against my ear. "Promise me, you'll stay awake a little longer tonight." Pause. Should I give in to the conversation that might change everything between us, or close my eyes and pretend I didn't hear the plea in his voice? I looked at him in the dim light, his face half hidden by shadows, yet his eyes shining with something deep and restless. I felt torn. Part of me wanted to close my eyes and escape into sleep, safe and quiet. But another part, the part that still remembered our long walks and late-night talks before we got married, told me to stay. So I sighed softly and gave a small nod. "Okay, Ryan. I'm awake. Tell me what's on your mind." He gave a relieved smile, but it was brief. His fingers tightened slightly around mine, like he was still searching for the right words. "Do you remember our first winter together? How we stayed up all night in your old apartment, drinking hot chocolate and making plans for the future?" I smiled faintly at the memory. That was before work stress, family expectations, and endless responsibilities clouded our days. Back then, we were just two people crazy about each other, dreaming big and laughing over silly things. "I miss that version of us," he whispered. "The one where we could talk about everything and nothing for hours." His words hung between us, heavy and real. I didn't know how to answer right away. Life had changed us. Love was still there, but hidden under layers of routine and exhaustion. I brushed his hair back gently, feeling the warmth of his skin. "I miss that too," I admitted. "But people change, Ryan. Life isn't as simple anymore." He smiled softly, but his eyes stayed serious. Maybe. But what if we could find our way back? Not to the past, but to something better. Something new. I don't want us to fall asleep next to each other like strangers. His voice cracked just a little on the last word, and it hit me harder than I expected. Had we really grown distant without even realizing it? The silence stretched longer this time, filled only with the soft hum of the ceiling fan and the quiet sounds of the night outside. My heart was racing, but I wasn't sure if it was fear, guilt, or hope. Was this the moment we saved our love, or the moment we realized we'd lost it? I searched his face, hoping to find an answer in his eyes, but all I saw was the same longing I felt inside. And just as I opened my mouth to speak, Ryan whispered, almost as if afraid to break the fragile moment, "Don't fall asleep yet, there's something else I need to tell you." The sudden flicker of the light caught both of us off guard. For a second, everything paused, like the room itself was holding its breath. I glanced toward the ceiling, confused, but Ryan's hand tightened around mine, pulling my focus back to him. His eyes, deep and searching, told me that whatever he was about to say was far more important than a faulty bulb. But the interruption had unsettled something inside me. My mind started racing with thoughts I wasn't ready to face. Was this just about us growing distant, or was there something bigger he was hiding? Ryan hesitated, his lips parting as if to speak, but then closing again, like he wasn't sure how to begin. His usual confidence, the easy charm I fell in love with, was replaced by quiet vulnerability. That alone scared me more than anything else. "It's not just about missing the past," he finally whispered. "There's something else, something I've been keeping from you." My heart skipped a beat. I could feel my stomach twist in knots. What could he possibly be hiding from me, the person who shared his home, his dreams, his life? Before I could ask, he looked away, staring at the bedroom wall as if it held the answers. "Lately, I've been spending time with someone, not in the way you think," he added quickly, noticing the shock on my face. "It's a friend. Someone I met through work. She helped me realize how much I've been missing out on, talking, laughing, just being myself." The word she echoed in my mind louder than anything else. I wanted to believe him. I wanted to trust the love we built. But a part of me, fragile and scared, whispered doubts in the back of my mind. Trying to steady my voice, I asked, "Why didn't you tell me about her before? Why now, in the middle of the night?" His shoulders slumped, and for the first time, I saw how lost he truly was. "Because I was afraid you'd think the worst. I didn't want you to feel replaced. But I couldn't keep pretending everything was fine between us when it wasn't." His honesty was sharp, cutting through the quiet night. And yet, the way he spoke wasn't defensive, but broken. Like a man tired of hiding his feelings. The room felt colder somehow, though his hand never left mine. I felt torn between two truths, the love we had built over years and the cracks that had slowly crept in, unnoticed. Was this a betrayal or a cry for help? I wasn't sure. But what I did know was that something in our marriage had shifted, and there was no going back to the way things were before. Still, I wasn't ready to give up. Not yet. Just when I was about to ask him who this friend really was, Ryan's phone buzzed loudly on the nightstand. The screen lit up, flashing a name I didn't recognize. My heart froze. And in that moment, the question hung heavy in the air: what would I find if I answered that call? The phone kept buzzing, filling the quiet room with a sound that felt louder than it should. My heart pounded in my chest, each vibration of the phone sending a new wave of doubt through me. Ryan didn't reach for it right away. He just stared at the screen, his jaw tight, his body frozen. I couldn't take my eyes off the glowing name flashing on the screen: Sophie. A name I didn't know. A name that suddenly felt like a stranger standing between us. Ryan. Who is that? My voice cracked as I asked, even though part of me wasn't sure I wanted to know the answer. He looked at me, guilt flickering across his face. "She's the friend I told you about," he whispered. But it's not what you think. She's been going through a rough time, and I was just trying to help. His words sounded sincere, but the timing, the secrecy, the late-night phone call, none of it felt right. I wanted to believe him, I really did. But doubt is like a shadow, it creeps in slowly, even when the light of love is still there. My mind raced through every late night he came home tired, every text he typed and quickly locked his phone afterward. Were those innocent moments or signs I ignored? I felt like I was drowning in thoughts, and the room felt smaller with every passing second. Ryan finally picked up the phone, silencing it, but he didn't answer the call. Instead, he turned to me, his voice soft but steady. "I'll tell her I can't talk right now. Us. It matters more." But even as he said it, my heart questioned if it was already too late. "Why didn't you tell me about her sooner, Ryan? Why did it take all this distance for you to open up tonight?" I wasn't angry, but hurt, deeply hurt. He sighed, brushing a hand through his hair. "Because I didn't know how. I was afraid we were already too far apart, and I didn't want to lose you completely." The tension between us felt like a fragile thread, stretched to its limit. Neither of us spoke for a long moment, the quiet filling the space where our laughter used to live. Then, softly, Ryan reached for my hand again, his voice barely audible. "Can we fix this? Or are we already too far gone?" And in that fragile, uncertain moment, a soft knock echoed at our bedroom door. Everything we thought we knew was about to change. The knock at the bedroom door came again, firmer this time. Ryan and I stared at each other, our hearts racing in sync but for completely different reasons. In all the years we'd lived in this house, no one had ever knocked on our bedroom door at midnight. For a moment, neither of us moved. The phone still sat between us on the nightstand, its screen dark but its presence loud. I swallowed hard, feeling an unfamiliar chill run down my spine. "Who could that be?" I whispered, my voice barely audible. Ryan stood up slowly, running a hand through his hair, tension written across his face. "I wasn't expecting anyone, at least, not tonight." His words sent another wave of confusion through me. Not tonight? Did that mean someone had been coming here on other nights too? My mind spun with 1,000 questions I wasn't ready to ask. Ryan walked to the door, hesitating before he turned the knob. When he opened it, I expected maybe a neighbor, or someone from his family. But it wasn't either. Standing there in the dim hallway light was Sophie. The woman from the phone. The woman I had only heard about minutes ago. She was wearing a worried expression, clutching her phone in her hands. Her voice trembled as she spoke, looking past Ryan and straight at me. I'm sorry to come here so late. But I didn't know where else to go." The air in the room turned thick and heavy. Ryan looked back at me, his face pale, as if this moment was his greatest fear come true. I sat frozen, unable to speak, my mind still struggling to understand what was happening. Why was she here? Why did she look so desperate? And why, above all, did it feel like I was the outsider in my own home? Ryan stepped aside, letting her in, his voice low but gentle. "Sophie, what's going on? Why are you here?" She took a shaky breath and finally spoke. "I didn't mean to cause trouble. I swear. But I got into something complicated. I needed your help. And when you didn't answer my calls, I panicked. I thought maybe something happened to you too." Her words stirred up a storm of questions inside me. What was she mixed up in? And how deeply was Ryan involved? My eyes searched his face, looking for truth, for lies, for something to hold on to. But before either of them could explain further, Sophie's phone buzzed loudly. She looked down, her face draining of color. "Oh no," she whispered, her voice shaking. "He found out where I am." And in that moment, every bit of our quiet, complicated night turned into something much bigger than love, friendship, or marriage. Someone dangerous was now part of our story, and our lives would never be the same. The room felt colder as Sophie's words hung in the air. My heart thudded against my ribs as Ryan quickly shut the bedroom door, locking it behind her. "Tell me exactly who's after you," he said, his voice firmer now, protective in a way that reminded me of the man I fell in love with. Sophie took a shaky breath, glancing at both of us. "His name is Daniel, he's someone from my past. I thought I left him behind, but tonight he tracked me down. He's dangerous, Ryan. And now he knows I came to you for help." Everything snapped into focus for me. This wasn't about a hidden affair. This wasn't about love lost or secrets between us. This was about trust. And fear. And the life we built being suddenly dragged into something far more dangerous than late-night arguments. Ryan turned to me, his eyes meeting mine with a silent plea. "We have to help her. Please, don't walk away from me now." I hesitated, the weight of the entire night pressing down on me. But deep down, I knew what kind of man Ryan was. Flawed, confused at times, but loyal and kind. I nodded. "Okay. What do we do?" Relief washed over his face, but it was short-lived. Sophie's phone buzzed again. A message this time. Ryan grabbed it, reading quickly. His face went pale. "He's outside," Ryan whispered, his voice tight. "Right now." My pulse jumped. The walls of our bedroom, once safe and warm, suddenly felt like a trap. Ryan quietly led us toward the back exit of the house, keeping the lights off. Every step felt heavy, every creak of the floor warning us we had no time to waste. As we slipped out the back door into the cool night, I felt his hands slip into mine, steady and strong. But just when I thought we had escaped, headlights cut through the darkness. A car blocked the alleyway behind our house. And standing there, outside the car, was Daniel. But the twist that stole my breath away wasn't him. It was the person who stepped out from the passenger side, my sister. The sister I hadn't spoken to in years. She smiled coldly and said, "Looks like you're not the only one keeping secrets tonight." And in that single moment, everything I thought I knew shattered again. For a moment, none of us spoke. The cold night air wrapped around us as if time itself had stopped. My sister, Mia, stood next to Daniel with a calmness that chilled me to the bone. I hadn't seen her in 3 years, not since we had a falling out over family inheritance and painful misunderstandings. Now, she was here, standing beside the man who had been chasing Sophie. Ryan held my hand tighter, steadying me. "Mia, what are you doing with him?" My voice shook, part anger, part heartbreak. She gave a soft laugh, one that didn't quite reach her eyes. "I didn't plan for this. I met Daniel during one of my business trips. We got close. He told me someone betrayed him, and it turns out that someone was Sophie." Sophie stepped forward, shaking her head. "I never betrayed him. I left because he was dangerous. Controlling. I needed to escape." Her voice cracked with emotion. Mia's expression softened for a brief moment. Maybe not. I was tired of being the forgotten sister, always in the background while you two lived your perfect life. I thought helping Daniel would bring me some peace, but seeing you both now, risking everything for someone else, maybe I was wrong. The air between us shifted. Daniel took a step forward, but Mia placed a hand on his arm, stopping him. "Let them go, Daniel. This isn't the way." After a tense silence, Daniel finally lowered his gaze, his anger fading into exhaustion. "I didn't want this. I just wanted closure." And just like that, the tension broke. He turned and walked back to his car, Mia following him but giving me one last look, somewhere between regret and goodbye. Ryan, Sophie, and I stood in the quiet alley, the weight of the night finally lifting. We made our way back inside, the home feeling a little emptier but also filled with something new, honesty. Later, as we sat on the couch, Ryan looked at me, his voice soft. "I'm sorry for not telling you everything sooner." I smiled gently, resting my head on his shoulder. "We'll rebuild from here. Together." Sophie smiled too, finally at peace, ready to start a new chapter of her own. And in the quiet of the early morning, with the past behind us, we realized love isn't perfect, but it's worth fighting for. So, what do you think? Should we continue their story in a sequel? Tell me in the comments below. I'd love to hear how you feel about this ending.